Hey everybody, welcome. Welcome to Daily Reflections with Chris. I'm Chris and eager to talk about, well, I don't know about eager is the right word, but I'm looking forward to talking to you guys a little bit about my experience, strength, and hope as it pertains to my recovery from alcoholism and so many other isms, right? And what I use, I don't know if you can see this right there, Daily Reflections. This is the book I use to keep me on topic or to give me a topic, something to talk about instead of just me just talking about whatever. I try to pick something from this book, and every day is a new entry, and today is June 18th. So let's get started. Today's entry says, "A fellowship of freedom. If only men were granted absolute liberty and were compelled to obey no one, they would then voluntarily associate themselves in the common interest." That's from As Bill Sees It, page 50. "When I no longer live under the dictates of another of alcohol, I live in a new freedom. When I release the past and all the excess baggage I have carried for so very long, I come to know freedom. I have been introduced into a life and a fellowship of freedom. These steps are a recommended way of finding a new life. There are no commands or dictates in AA. I am free to serve from desire rather than decree. There is the understanding that I will benefit from the growth of other members, and I take what I learn and I bring it back to the group. The common welfare finds room to grow in the society of personal freedom." Wow. I think that's kind of like been a hot topic in my world, right? I listen to certain podcasts. I listen to certain people on Instagram or YouTube, and I listen to my fellows, right, that I share my life with, my daily life with, and I listen to their stories and what they share. And now I'm reading this, and I'm thinking about just making the connection of all that and where I am in life personally, right? I feel like, yeah, there is some truth. Well, not some truth. There is a lot of truth in that. For me, today more than ever before, more than this day last year, more than this day 2 years ago, more than this day 3 years ago, more than this day 20 years ago, right? Because 20 years ago I had just came in, and man, I was on probation, and I had to figure out how I was gonna do all these classes and still go to work and now take the bus, right? Because I lost my driver's license and live a sober life. And in the beginning, I wasn't even doing it because I had to. I was like against the law, right? So once they started telling me, it's like, Chris, if you're on probation and you're still drinking, you might be an alcoholic. Because I used to think I wasn't an alcoholic. Like, drinking wasn't my problem. It was people were my problem, right? So then I started to think about what they were saying. And it's like, oh man, anybody can quit for 24 hours, right? But I would only say it to myself. I would only think that to myself. And when I would try, without telling anybody, I'd be like, man, anybody can quit for 24 hours. And I tried and I couldn't do it. So I stopped trying to quit because I didn't want to look at the fact that I couldn't stop drinking even when I wanted to. I was already at that point. I mean, yeah, probation gave it away. Probably broken relationships probably gave it away. Being, sleeping on my mom's couch probably would have gave it away. Not ever having any money will probably give it away. Me always being drunk and high probably gave it away too. But for me, part of my journey, it wasn't until I actually tried it for myself that I was like, oh, okay, I really can't quit, right? But I wasn't going to admit that right away. I mean, and the denial was my favorite place, right? So I stayed there for as long as I could until I was able for myself. I was able to finally make the decision that to admit that I was alcoholic, two, that my life was completely unmanageable, and three that I couldn't do it alone, right? I needed help. And when I was finally able to come to that realization and be able to have that desire grow inside of me, right? The desire to stay sober, the desire to stop drinking. It was then that I was able to take steps forward in this program. Before then, I don't know if I was stuck. I mean, I've been stuck I feel like, I don't know where I was, right, when I first got here, as far as like really putting some solid names to what those feelings were, or what those times were called, because I didn't know anything. It was like either drunk or not drunk, high or not high. That's what I needed to know. Am I high or not high? Am I gonna get drunk or am I not gonna get drunk? So that everything else didn't matter. You know, being oversensitive, jealous, inferior. How do you say that? Not inferior. Well, inferior is one too, but insecurities. I didn't know about all that stuff. Narcissism. What was one they told me a few days ago? Gaslight. I don't know I didn't know what any of that was. I mean, I was just being me. I'm a total jerk though, but I was just being me because I was under the control. I was under the bondage. I was under what they call in the Hispanic groups encadenado, right? Like I was chained by alcoholism and drug addiction. Nothing else mattered to me but that. And when I was finally able to make a decision that I wanted other things to matter, then and only then was I able to take certain steps in that direction, right? And man, my life is completely different, man. It's I feel like I keep taking 180s, right? Like where I was when I got here, and I took a complete 180, and I was like, man, I'm totally different. And then a few years down the line, I feel like, whoa, like I just took another 180 because I was good then, but now I'm even better. And I was good then, but now I'm even better. And all these were just part of the growth, part of the freedom of being able to be who I've wanted to be, who I felt like I was born to be, who I felt like that would be the person. I want to be that person because that's who I want to be, and I've always wanted to be, right? That person who loves and cares and shows kindness and compassion. And I don't always do it great. I have a long way to go, but I keep moving towards that person because I want to, not because I have to, not because I'm on probation, not because somebody's telling me get it together or we're out, you know. Or even then, now the people that I hang out with or associate with will tell me their point of view, knowing that I'm still gonna do whatever I want. And what I want to do now is to not hurt people, to not put myself in a bind, and you know, where I'm gonna hurt myself, to not, the little amount of effect that I have on other people as far as negatively, I'm happy with that. Do I want to affect them positively? Yes. Do I want to encourage them? Yes. Do I want to show them love? Yes. Do I want to show them compassion? Yes. Do I want to show them understanding? Absolutely. I want to show them all that. But all the other stuff that I used to show them, like hate, anger, frustration, jealousy, dismissiveness, you know, all that stuff, uncaring, unkind, unloving, all those things that I used to show those around me, all the stuff that I want to stay away from. So even though it takes me a while to make a decision, like I really got to think about stuff, right? I can't just, I'm borderline pros and cons list, right? Like sometimes I think, man, a pros and cons list would probably really help me right now. But I do, even though I write it down, I do try to think of everything that's pro, everything that's con over here, considering others, but also considering the freedom that I have today to be who I really want to be, right? To be another freedom that I didn't have, that I gained in recovery, was the freedom from people pleasing, the freedom from what they want, the freedom for how do they feel, right? Do I want to consider this? Yes. If I have a partner, of course I want to consider her. Of course I want to ask her, babe, what do you feel about this? How do you think? I mean, I have this opportunity, you know, how do you feel? Do you think it'll hurt us, or can we if I make this decision and it doesn't, can we survive, right? And I don't think that they always know we can survive or not, but they have an idea because they're adults too, just like I have an idea. It's like, babe, I have, this is the offer. At some point, we might have to stretch it out a little bit than others, but I think if we prepare, or if we get something together, we could probably do it. If not anything, just the agreement that we're gonna go in it together, right? Do I have to do some things on my own? Yes, of course I do. Of course I do. I'm not gonna call her and it's like, hey babe, what do you think? Should I buy roses? No, of course there's some things that I do on my own because because I'm free to do that. I'm free to be the kind of lover that I want to be. I'm free to be the kind of friend I want to be. I'm free to be the kind of person I want to be, the AA member I want to be, the people and man, it's golly, for a person like me, that's big. Because a person like me was always, I was like a chameleon that never got it right. That was always the wrong color, right? I'm not talking about skin. I'm talking about, how chameleons change colors or change to fit in the scenery. You see them, you can't see them till they like peek their head or whatever, but they're there, but they just try to fit in everywhere. Well, that's the way that I was. I always try to fit everywhere, and I never fit. I used to say a long time ago, and folks, there's recovery for people like us. Okay, there's recovery. There's a better life. I'm not unhappy right now. I may be single. I might have like $20 in the bank, but I'm not unhappy right now. All right, so I'm gonna finish this one thought, and then I want to talk to you a little bit about what's going on in my daily life, because that's what when I share with you, I hope that somebody else would hear something familiar and that'll resonate to help them either today or tomorrow, right? So I used to say, looking back on past relationships, I would say, man, I always felt like I was trying to fit this mold, and they would say, no, you gotta do like this, and you gotta be like that, and if you don't make this much money, and if you you gotta be more femme, you gotta be more butch, and then I would finally be like this, all twisted. I feel like I finally fit into the hole, into the mold, right? And then they would change it. We're like, what? They're like, oh man, you just don't fit. Sorry, dude, it's over. It's like, what? Like I could. And I didn't realize it when I was doing it. I realized it looking back, right? And being like, God, man, I dodged a bullet with that one. Shit. When I'm finally past the heartache, when I'm finally past the feelings, when I'm finally past the coulda, shoulda, wouldas, I can look back and be like, man, I tried everything 110% and just was never good enough, didn't fit, was never enough. It's like, yeah, dude, you were all twisted up. Everybody saw it. Everybody kept telling me, dude, what are you doing? And I just said, no. I know if I just go just a little bit more to the left, I'm going to fit right in. And then she's going to love me. And then she's going to want me. And then she's never going to leave. And then we're going to be happy forever. And that's what I want. Well, I'm grateful that today I don't have to do that. Nor do I want to do that. I have the freedom to not do that. Excuse me. Sorry, I got warm in here. I have the freedom to be me as I am. To wear this cap backward and forward. To make this video in the day or in the night. To charge or don't charge. To put my cash up or don't put it. To read the daily reflections. Well, that's pretty standard right for now, I think. But at some point, I have the freedom to when this season might be over, to start something else. I have that freedom. And these freedoms, like it says in the reading, it's because I want them. I'm doing this because I want to do this. I love because I want to love. I adjust because I want to adjust. I think about other people's feelings because that's what I want to do. I care about other people today, right? Knowing that Okay, I think this is a good segue into talking about like what's going on in my daily life, right? So I have an opportunity to make more money doing what I already do, that I'm pretty good at, right? And this opportunity, kind of the same people, but working for a different boss, getting paid more money. There's job security. Well, as far as I can see, there's job security. I'm gonna make it salaried, so I'm gonna make the same thing every month, and we're gonna do one route, and I can do it as fast or as slow as I want to. Little to no supervision. Like, that is peaceful to me. That is freedom to me. It's like, okay, I'm gonna get paid to do what I can do, and at my pace, and I'm not gonna have to worry if I'm gonna get this much this week and this much next week and this much this week and this much next week. So in that sense, right, in the mathematical sense, even after I take out taxes, even if I take off wear and tear on my car, even after I take off all that, I still will make more money over here, right? So in that area, in the numbers, this makes more sense. So, and I said I wasn't going to talk about it today, but I'm going to talk about it. And then I got to let it go. Because I said for all of Sunday, I got to let this go. Because this decision is hard. Why? Because I care about my boss. I care about my coworkers. I care about them being, them struggling. Right? And when I made the decision to leave HEB, to go to the post office full time. Yeah, money was involved. I mean, I love HEB, but they really weren't paying me what the post office was paying me. Not even close to it, right? So, nowhere close to it. So I said, I'm going to move to and my boss, and man, I love her to death. She was like, so I was real honest with her. I said, look, I want to come work here, but this is what I bring. If you can work with that, I will work with you. And every time I'm here, I'll give you 110%. 110%. That is my commitment to you. You know, she's like, well, I'm like, what could it be? All right, it sounds huge. Says, yeah, it's huge. Because I know what that position is, and I know what it consists of, and I know the job. I've done it before, right? Not to be cocky, but I've been there before, so I know what the expectation is in that position. And one of the expectations is you don't get days off. And I have a service commitment that's 2 years, so I came up to her with these days off, and I said, this is what I bring. If you're willing to work with me, I'll work with you. And so far, so good. It's been good. But now that the post office has changed the pay schedule, it's affecting me financially, right? So me, as a person of like a self-supporting individual who doesn't like taking out loans, doesn't like asking for people for money, works as you know, as hard as they can when they can, and rest when they can, works when they can. Sometimes it's just to stay afloat. Sometimes it's for extra. Sometimes it's to go on trips. Sometimes, you know, the money that I used to use for fun, now I got to use it for bills because the pay schedule is affecting my life. And it's not new. It's been, ever since they started doing it, it's been affected. It's going down and down and down. Well, this last week, I was just, you know, it's pretty strange how things happen, right? Because I want to say through prayer, through meditation or whatever. No, it was just like one day I was at a meeting and I was sharing about this because everybody was like, well, man, Chris, do you have a job? And it's like, yeah, I have a job, but I haven't had many hours because I was in meetings all day, and the people were like, what happened? Did you get fired? And it's like, no, I didn't get fired. I just, I haven't had work. So we're talking that particular time we were talking about, the topic was you know, prayer, and then the suggestions of sponsors is like when we bring something to them, some will say like, well, where's God in all this? Have you prayed about it? Have you wrote about it? Have you meditated? They ask us like, well, have you talked to God about this, your higher power? Have you talked to that higher power of yours about what's going on? And most of the time it's like, oh no, well, we didn't think about that. But when we do, it's like, well, okay, well, what was the answer? What was the result? You should know that's between you and him. So that was a topic, right? And I remember sitting in the sofa and just thinking like, the question of the day was, where's God in all this? And I remember sitting there and thinking like, yeah, it was my turn to share, and I was like, yeah, man, I'm certainly thinking about like, where's God in all this? Because I'm praying and I'm meditating, and it still feels like has not shown up. And I remember saying, yeah, I feel the same way. I was just talking normally, saying I feel the same way. It's like, where's God in all this? And then I remember saying, yeah, God, where are you? Just like that. And I felt like something, like something came in. And everybody was laughing. And I remember thinking like, wow, something just happened, right? But I didn't know what was going to happen. I just felt like something happened. Like a wall had cracked, or the glass had cracked, and he was able to hear me or whatever, right? Or I was able to hear him actually, and feel him and see him. But I wasn't quite sure what that was going to look like. Next day comes around, I go, I'm working in a different station, and I'm talking to this guy that we're just kidding, and I went over there and I cleaned where his spot was. I'm like, dude, I just cleaned this. You already made it a mess. He's like, nah, you did a good job. You did a good job cleaning it. And I said, yeah, thank you. And I said, looks like I'm about to do it again. He's like, hey, he goes, what time you get off today? And I said, probably about 9. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, I'll stay as long as they want me to, but I think they only have me till 9. I don't really know. And he's like, you want to come work for me? And I was like, what? He's like, you want to come work for me? He doesn't know my struggles. He doesn't know what I'm going through. He doesn't even know that our situation. All he knows is that he's known me for 7 years. And in 7 years that I have worked around him, he's seen me go from doing the toughest, craziest routes to struggling every single day, to crying sometimes, to sweating like a dog, to being able to handle my work and other people's work, to becoming a kind of employee that he always knew I was, but was fine. Like, he always knew I was a good worker. He knows I have an attitude. He knows that I've been through a lot, but he knows that I can handle myself. And he wanted some. He goes, you don't call in. You show up on time. Well, he doesn't know me in that area. I have been late sometimes. He goes, but you don't call in. And that's right, I don't call in. He says, you don't call in. You show up to work. You get gas. He says, and I don't know what's going on over there at the post office, but, you want to do this route? And he showed me the route. He's like, this is what I pay, and this is what, what your hour would look like, what your days would look like. And I'm like, wow. I said, let me think about it. And he said, okay. So one day goes by, and he's like, hey, I just want to let you know that you can start whenever you want on this route, right? You can start tomorrow if you want, right? And I was like, and I told him, yeah, I appreciate that. Tomorrow I'm scheduled at work, but I appreciate that. And he's like, okay. So that he didn't pressure me. He gave me the freedom to choose. And I remember thinking about like considering what that would look like. Because I've used my car for work before, so I know there's wear and tear. I know what repairs, how much they cost. I know what gas costs, and it goes up and down. And sometimes I got it, sometimes I don't. I've never been paid once a month, so that would be like the only thing that I would have to really work on. But the job, I know it, and the hours are perfect, man. Like, you're talking about, like, for what he wants to pay me, it feels good. It feels easy. And so I had already made, in thinking about it, I was, secure in my decision, feeling good about it. And I'm still feeling good about it, honestly. I don't know. I think about my boss, and I think, like, would it hurt for me to stay? Would it hurt for me to stay just a little bit longer? Probably not. It probably wouldn't hurt. I mean, I think that guy would. If anything, it would hurt. I think it would hurt my word, because I already committed to that guy. And if I change my mind, I feel like it would hurt my word. Like, my word would probably be worth less next time around, when I'm finally done with the post office, and be like, hey dude, can you hook me up? And he's a business guy, so he probably would. But I'm talking about, like, me internally inside. Like, what is my word worth? What is my word worth? With these freedoms that I have, I have responsibilities. Can't just be doing whatever, whenever. And I had already thought about leaving the post office, because I need to live, and it's not even the lifestyle, right? It's to live in the area that I feel like I need to be living in right now. It costs money. It's not cheap. We just started this group. And rent's not cheap here, and even though it's not cheap, they're scarce. It's hard. The property value is high up here, and still there's not that many open properties, right? So my mind's thinking, what am I gonna do since my lease is up? And I wish I could stay, but I can't, because I'm not making enough to stay there, which is why I feel like it's kind of a nudge, like, what are you gonna do, Chris? Are you gonna, you gotta find something that's gonna take care of all your needs, at least your basics. And right now, the job I have is not doing that. So when I got this, I felt like that was God's answer to my, like, where are you, God? Where are you in this, right? And I felt like that was his answer to my honesty of being like, I know you're God, but I just need to know, like, where are you? And so there's a lot in what I've been talking about. There's a lot that I shared with you guys, and I could probably get this one instance in my life and talk a lot on a lot of different topics, right? It's like being honest, standing up for myself, right? And I say being honest, man, there's so much I could talk to you about. Being honest, to thine own self be true. It's on the very first desire chip that they give you when you walk into Alcoholics Anonymous. Like, it was your first day. Do you have a desire to stop drinking? And they say yes. And they give you this little silver chip, and on the back it says, to thine own self be true. And to thine own self be true, it has a deeper meaning for me today than anything else, right? It's like, okay, you know what your boss wants, but what does Chris want? You know what this person wants, what do you want? You know what this is, what do you want? You know what this costs, what do you want? You know what this looks like, what do you want? And I have to be honest with myself in relationships, in work stuff, ethics, values. I can see somebody and I could take their inventory and be like, whoa, I don't want that person. Is this job right for me? Here we go. This is where it is. Sorry, it took me a minute to get there. When I ask myself, is this job right for me because it has this, and this? I have to be honest with myself. Chris, yes, that job offers this. This job offers this. Be honest. When Chris thinks about his dream job, what does his dream job look like? And do any of these jobs have what Chris's dream job looks like. That's how To Thine Own Self Be True to me has taken on a new meaning. That I could be true to myself and be like, and I just learned that in a relationship that I was in not too long ago. This woman, man, I thought she was perfect. It's, third time around, I thought, oh, we're going to make it this time. And I kept praying, God, is this person for me? Is she for me? Is she for me? Is she for me? If she's for me, then help me stay. If she's for me, then help me look at what I need to grow in, right? If she's not for me, then I want every feeling for her to go away. I want every thought of her to really, be gone from my mind. I don't want to remember her every time I go somewhere. Relieve me from that if she's not for me. And in that moment, I remember I hear a little voice that says, Chris, stop looking at her. Look at yourself. When you think of your perfect mate and the qualities that you want in it, does she have that? If she does, then yes. But if she doesn't, then it's no. Chris, be honest with yourself. So in that moment, I was like, oh yeah, that's true. It's not a checklist per se. It's the qualities that I'm looking for in a particular human that I want to spend the rest of my life with. And does that person obtain it? It's the qualities in a job that make me feel safe and secure. And does this one have it, or does this one have it? It's To Thine Own Self Be True. And today I have that freedom. I never had that freedom. They said, no, Chris, this is the car you qualify for. And they would bring me this little car. Nobody knows the name. Nobody knows how to work on it. But here's a little car you qualify. Chris, this is the apartment you qualify for. This is the job you're going to have. This is where you're going to live. This is where you're going to go get drunk. This is the girl you're going to, I felt like everything was not forced on me, but I didn't have the freedom to choose. I remember the last time, I bought a car. I've had really, really good luck with buying cars lately. Since I bought my Mitsubishi, I had a red one. I went over there, and the guy was like, "Well, give me a hard time or whatever." Anyway, in the end, I was like, you know what? I said, thank you for because he was trying to put me in a car I didn't want to get. And I told myself, I'm not going to let nobody do that. I'm not going to let the dealership do that to me no more. If I can't, even if it's not my first pick, right? But if I can't pick out that car myself, then I don't want to have anything to do with it. And he was showing me, he's like, this is a car you qualify for. This is a car you can have. And I was like, well, what color do you have it in it? And he goes, yeah, you can pick any color. And I only had like black and red and silver, or black, silver, and white, or something like that. And I said, you know what? I said, I appreciate your time. I know I have been here for more than an hour, and truth is, I don't want this. I don't want to buy this car. So I'm gonna just wait or look around. But this is not the car that I want to go home in. And he says, okay. He says, look around the lot. Tell me what car, if you could take any car from this lot, what car would it be? And I said, sir, it's okay. You already said what I qualify for. I don't want to take the car if I don't want this car. I said, I'm sorry. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You've been great. You've been really nice, as a matter of fact. And you haven't been pushy, so I really appreciate that. And I'm sorry I wasted your time. And he said, give me 5 minutes. And I said, so you're telling me in 5 minutes you're gonna do what you haven't been able to do in the last hour? He goes, please, will you give me just 5 minutes? I said, okay, I'll give you 5 minutes. And he says 5 minutes, but I wasn't like there watching my clock, right? I just said, I said, okay, I'll give you 5 minutes, but I would have given him 20 if he would have took 20, right? So then he goes, and while I do that, he says, look around the lot, and I want you to pick the car that you want to take home with you tonight. And I said, okay. So I go looking around, and then I finally saw the car that I wanted. And I said, you know what? I like this car. I like this car right here. I like it. And he said, so then I go around and I come back, and he says, and he's coming out. He says, okay, which car did you pick? And I said, I want this car over here. And he says, and I said, it's a red one over here. And he says, oh, there's a red one here. And I said, no, I don't want that one. I want this one. And he's like, but they're the same. And I said, I understand, but I want this one. So I went and I picked out that red car, and I took that red car home with me. I don't know what happened. Something happened. And ever since then, I've always been able to pick out my own cars, no matter what. I picked a red one, then I picked a silver one, and then now I have a blue one, and I get to pick them. And I think, and I say that story because I think that's like the precedence, right? That sets the precedence to be like, no, Chris, you can pick your life. You can pick where you want to live. You can pick your job. You can pick your lady. Not necessarily, oh, I want that one because she's cute and blah, blah, blah. And that's the one. Bring her here. No, not like that. It's like, I don't, for lack of better words, I don't got to settle no more. Right? But I do have to be honest with myself. The truth is, the woman that I picture in my head to be with me, she might be a little bit different. That's okay. Does she love me right? Is she honest? Is she faithful? You know, does she have a sense of humor? Stuff like that. Is she willing to understand me and the kind of person that I am, knowing that I'm so flawed? And that I don't drink. And that I don't party. I love to dance. I go to dances all the time. But they don't serve liquor or sell drugs there. Or if they do, I don't know. But there's supposedly they don't, right? I want, that's the kind of, those are like just very, out of 100 qualities is that person could have, those are the ones that are more important to me. And when it comes to a car, it's the same way. When it comes to where I live, same way. Where it comes to where I want to work, it's the same way. And when I'm honest with myself, I'm able to make better decisions for myself, for my spirit, for my soul, for my mind, right? To have that peace of mind that it's like, if I pick a cheater for a girlfriend or for a wife, I'm always going to be wondering, is she cheating? 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 Yeah, I have insecurities, but at the same time, if you pick a cheater, you're gonna have those thoughts. Right? If I choose a job where everything is so up and down, twisted up, everything always changing, there's no security there. I mean, you'll have a job, but you never know how much you're going to make or where you're going to work or what you're going to do. And to some people, that's exciting. To me, in this moment of my life, it just doesn't bring a lot of peace, you know? So I'm in a different phase of my life, I think, and I have a lot more freedom today than I ever had in my whole entire life. And that brings me like so much joy, man. It brings me so much passion. It makes me feel like anything is possible. Like I have that feeling right now, like anything is possible. Anything. And I don't get those feelings very much, but I have that feeling right now. It could be because I'm speaking my truth. It could be because I'm in a spiritual room. It could be because I just meditate. It could be for a lot of things, but it could be mostly because I'm doing the things that work for me today. First of all, I don't drink. Second, I pray and I meditate. Third, I read my literature, my daily reflections, or my libro grande, my big book. And I be of service. I be of service, right? Carry the message, go to meetings, help an old lady at the grocery store, whatever, any kind of service, whether they're in recovery or not, just helping somebody, getting out of myself, getting out of my wants, getting out of my thoughts, getting out of my selfish needs, right? Selfish needs, there's some that are not selfish, like I'm gonna go eat right now after this video because I'm very super hungry. But I was waiting to see if anybody showed up for this meeting. So I'm here doing my video and just being a reflection of where I am and being so grateful of how far I have come from where I was. Ah, man. And that I get to do with that freedom good things. Right? It says here, the common welfare finds room to grow in the society of personal freedom. That means I live in a society today where we all have personal freedom. And in that society, instead of wanting to beat each other up, tear each other down, we're actually trying to build each other up, help each other. Man, yesterday, and yesterday, I was gonna say that I'm gonna end with this, but I don't know. I'm just kind of in a little flow right now. So yesterday, I was in a meeting with one of my buddies, right? He's, I'm not gonna tell you his name, but I will give you a little bit about his situation because it's real and it's true and it's amazing. He's still drinking. He has a service commitment, a big one. He doesn't think anybody knows. When one of the elders in my group, we all made a plan to go to this function yesterday, right? And he says, Chris, I'm going to go with this guy. I invited this guy, and this is going to be me and him. Because I told him, I said, why don't I pick you up? You're not on my way, but I don't care. We could ride together, right? Just so I don't ride, let's just ride together. And he says, I invited so-and-so, and because I want to talk to him about what's going on, because it's a big deal. And I said, okay. He says, I've just been thinking about, like, the manner in which I'm going to bring it up, and he says, I think it's time. And I said, okay. And I said, well, if he pulls over and says, get out his truck, call me. He's like, okay. He says, yeah, I'll call you. You'll be the first one. I said, okay. So then, anyway, so then I had already forgot about that, right? And then, so I get to the group and to the function, and I see him there. I was like, okay, cool. My buddy came. I was like, heck yeah, he's here. Because either way, whether he's drinking or not drinking, whether if he would admit to it or not, he's always welcome. We're not gonna kick him out. We just want to know what's going on with him, right? Not because we're nosy, but because we care about his common welfare. We care of the common welfare of the group. We care where he is, because that's what we're here. We're here to help people recover from this thing called alcoholism. So he's like, hey, you want coffee? And I was like, okay. He's like, you want some cream? And I said, okay. He's like, want some sugar? And I said, okay. And like, he was right there, and I felt like he had a spiritual light up. Like he was lit up, like he was free, like he was not feeling burdened, like he was light. And I was like, oh my God. Something happened. I don't know what happened. I don't know the conversation. I don't need to know the conversation. But something happened to this individual because he was different from the night before. So I told him, man, I am so grateful to see you here. He goes, yeah. He goes, I got invited. And he says, I don't know, but he goes, I wanted to come, and I came with Ruben. And I was like, oh, okay. And so anyway, he was like, and I remember in that moment feeling like, thank you, God. Thank you that you make a way with us, no way. Thank you for the space that you give us to be able to speak our honest truth. Thank you for the recovery that comes the healing that comes from us speaking our truth to other people who understand us, to other people who get it, to other people who love us anyway, to other people who are not going to chastise us, to people who have been there and are willing to help us get out of this mess. The common welfare, it says, the common welfare finds room to grow in the society. In other words, we're not in this society, this thing that I'm part of, this movement they call it. It's not like, what? I have seen people get kicked out of churches. They come in drunk and they get kicked out of churches. I've never seen anybody come in drunk into an AA meeting and get kicked out. Okay, the church has its autonomy, so does the group, right? But I say that because all of a sudden, I cared. Because you know what? When that guy was getting kicked out of the church, I was like, kick him out. Kick him out. And then in the inside, I was like, oh shit, they better never find out about me because I'll get kicked out too. And I did for other reasons, right? But even for that reason, they've never asked me to leave Alcoholics Anonymous. Why? Because they care. They don't care. The third tradition says that the only requirement to be a part of this program is to have a desire to stop drinking. It doesn't care how much you make, how much you weigh, where you were born, how many boyfriends you have, if you like girls. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. All that matters is, do you have the desire to stop drinking? And folks, there's people in these rooms that are still drinking, that still have the desire. That's why this program works. It shows us how to get from there to over here, right? To where you're not drinking. Because if you're alcoholic like me, if anybody's alcoholic like I was, I wanted to stop and could not stop. Even when I wanted the most, I couldn't. I didn't have the tools. I didn't know what was going on with me. I didn't know what alcoholism was. I didn't know the solution. And I definitely didn't know anybody else who was trying to get out of it like me. So those people who come in drunk, they probably have, they have the desire to stop drinking if they say they do. I'm not the judge. I don't get to decide if they do or not. I don't get to decide if they're ready. I don't get to decide if this is their last time. I don't get to decide I do get to decide. I don't get to decide if they stay or not. I get to decide if I judge them. I get to decide if I accept them. I get to decide if I want to help them. I get to decide if I'm going to keep coming back. I get to make those decisions, right? There's another freedom. There's more freedoms right there that I just talked about. So folks, if you're out there, you're feeling trapped, you're feeling like you're never going to get better, hopeless, depressed, thinking like, man, I want to stop and I can't stop. I want a better life, but I don't know how to get it. I want to stop. I want to go in for a bar and just drink too, but I can't. Whatever. I keep getting into trouble every time I drink. I keep beating my wife. Whatever. You don't have to say that out loud if you don't want to. Just be honest with yourself and know that there is a solution. If you want a solution, there is a solution. Now, I'm big on Alcoholics Anonymous, right? 12-step program. It's not the only one, though. Maybe you want to go to Narcotics Anonymous. Maybe you want to go to Overeaters. Maybe you want to go to Debtors Anonymous. Maybe you want to go Sex and Love Addicts. Maybe you want to find a therapist. Maybe you do want to go to church. I want to go to church. I love going to church, right? So there's nothing wrong with where you get your recovery, but get it. Get it. Get your recovery. Start that. Man, I can't tell you what to do, right? But there is a possibility a fire might get started inside of you if you give yourself the chance to just look into something. Just look into something. You can find stuff on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I love getting into Facebook and they'll show you a video and it's like, man, that was good. And then they keep showing, even if you don't subscribe, even if you don't like it, they keep showing you similar videos. They keep showing you similar thoughts, quotes. These, some of them are sponsored, right? If you look for a house, you're gonna get house all stuff. If you look for something recovery based, you're gonna get recovery based stuff. If you get something Christ-like, you're gonna, if you start watching Christ-like videos, you're gonna start getting Christ-like videos, and you create your own playlist. I think YouTube's the only one that really says, create your playlist, but everybody does it. Instagram does it, Facebook does it, right? Next thing you know, you're on Facebook and you're on that Reels, and it's all you see videos of your favorite people just doing different things, right? Comedians, dancers, preachers, everything. So that's like us. And so just a little shout out to Grapevine Lavinia, which is the meeting in print. Let me show you. Here we go. There are these little things right here. These are Spanish version. They call Lavinia, but in English they're called Grapevine. And they have an Instagram page now. It's really, really cool. Just has like really fast inserts. You don't have to like or subscribe, but if you look in there, it might help you in your daily walk, whether you're recovering from alcoholism, drug addiction, domestic violence, whatever. Maybe you just need a little bit of hope in your life. You can always dive into something like that. That's recovery based on your problems with alcohol. So folks, I want to say thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me share with you my life. Thank you for letting me share my experience with a lot of these steps with recovery and how much it's changed. I know that last year, June 18 was probably a little bit different than this year, June 18. But one thing I know for sure is that this program works. And I hope that, and I just want to thank you for letting me even share that with you. Thank you for your time. I pray and I hope that you will find a program that works for you. Maybe you're just a housewife and you don't think you need anything, man. I hope you find a group of friends who will just like lift you up so high and treat you so good and care for you so much that if you ever need something to give you strength or hope, that they will be there for you, right? That just like these rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous have been there for me, people in recovery have been in there for me, that you will find those people for you, your tribe, right? And I'm not saying the tribe that you get high with. I'm not saying the tribe you get drunk with, the tribe that you gossip with, the tribe that you, cheat with, the tribe that you go steal with, the tribe, it's a different kind of gang. It's a different kind of tribe, okay? It's not like what it used to be. It's for good and not evil. So I hope you find that for yourself. And, I just encourage you. Man, I just encourage you today. Just know that there's help for you. There's help for everybody. Maybe it's not you. Maybe it's a family member. Get them hooked up, man. Find them a meeting. Find them a big book. Get them something. Just something. Reach out to share it with them. And that's it for today. Thank you so much. Man, I can't say thank you enough. I'm so grateful to be a part of this YouTube channel. I'm grateful to be able to share something with you today. And I'm grateful that no matter what, everything I'm going through is part of this journey that I get to be on, that I choose to be on, that I have the freedom to be on or get off at any time. But my freedoms today bring me joy and happiness and excitement. And I hope they do for you too. Till next time, we'll see you soon. Bye.